One of the best things about living in Florida is being able to take advantage of the outdoors year-round. For this week's Story of Recovery, we sat down with Michael Boneta at a park near his home in Clearwater, Florida.
I'm 39 years old. I've been in Florida since 2005. Currently a truck driver. We have a contract with the Postal Service, so we just haul mail. Spare time just to hang out with my family, walk the dogs, go out to the beach, just do, outdoor activities and go to the movies.
Michael was a patient of the Boneta Spine Institute in 2017, but his pain started more than a decade before while serving our country.
I was in the United States Army. I was a sergeant. I served for almost 8 years. Initially, my pain started when I was in the military. I had injured it back in 2004, but it wasn't one specific incident. I think just over time wearing heavy equipment, and it was causing shooting pain down my right leg. And it was just all the time, constant, sharp shooting pain, just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I just remember walking to the chow hall during deployment. It wasn't far. It was a big tent. It wasn't really protected or anything, but it was over a mile. And for me, that was a lot with the pain I had, and I was limping around. It took me almost an hour to get dressed every day, just because it took so long. I had to work up the will just to, okay, let's do this shoe now, this boot now, So if I had to be at formation at 5 o'clock, I was getting up at 3:15. So when I got out of the military, right before I got out of the military in 2005, I had surgery on my lower back, which relieved the pain for a number of years. It was a discectomy. They did a partial disc remover to relieve that pressure off the nerve, because that's where the main pain was coming from, the nerve. It was putting pressure on the nerve and just excruciating pain. But at the time I was deployed, so they couldn't really do anything. So I had to wait till I got back to my base in Germany.
His surgery helped him through the rest of his time in the military and as he rejoined civilian life. But an incident late last year brought the pain back stronger than it had been before.
The doctors told me when I had surgery in 2005 that it can come back, It may or may not come back. And just over time, I just felt kind of sore and stuff, and I kind of take it easy. But then back in November of last year, I kind of hunched down and I just felt a sharp pain like somebody kicked me. It was just real bad, I couldn't barely walk. I had to really use a lot of willpower to walk, to go from one room to the next. As far as eating, I couldn't go to the dining room table to go eat. My wife brought me my food and I ate sitting up. When I felt the pain this time around, it was very similar to the pain I felt back in 2004. It was that sharp pain, but it radiated down my right leg the same as before. But it felt I would say a person who weighed 400 pounds was sitting on me. That's how much pressure I felt on my back, all the time. And I remember 2 weeks before that, I had seen a commercial from Boneta Spine Institute, and people were talking about how they had work done, the procedure, and they were feeling great. So I spoke to Jenna at Boneta and got the ball rolling from there.
Wasting no time, Michael made an appointment at the Boneta Spine Institute to have his pain eliminated once and for all.
On my initial consultation, I met with Dr. Jones, and after they had set me up for MRI, which they did at the facility, was great, was really convenient, had everything right there. He went over the information, what he saw. He made everything clear that they were going to do 3 targeted procedures. This way they're not just operating and praying. I did have some imagery with me that I had from the VA that they were able to go over, which kind of helps expedite the process, because obviously I wanted to get moving forward as fast as possible because I was in extreme pain. They did show me the images from the MRI, and they went over and pointed to the different areas where he thought that was the root cause of my pain. From the get-go, I felt very comfortable that he knew what he was doing, then I was in good hands.
We followed Michael on his journey to recovery, beginning with the most important place, the operating room.
On surgery day for the first surgery, I walked in, I checked into the OR. They basically had me sign some forms just to make sure I had copies of everything. And then I went to a separate room where I spoke to the anesthesiologist and basically just went over what procedure they were going over to that day, because 3 different procedures were 3 different areas. It was explained to me before surgery why I was going to be awake during the procedure, basically to help them help me find the area that I needed to be in. Not only was I awake, I was able to see what they were doing on the screen, which was really interesting. I was able to communicate with the surgeon during the surgery.
Close your back a little bit? Yeah.
This way, if I felt too much pain, I could let them know.
The Boneta spine procedures are performed incrementally, one vertebral level at a time, to address the main cause of the pain first. Should follow-up surgeries be necessary, they are typically scheduled within a few days of the first procedure.
I had a total of 3 targeted surgeries, and each one was a level below. So I think the last one was the L5S1, and this was the most difficult one because that's the same area where I had back in 2005 prior to getting out of the military. So it was probably the most difficult for Dr. Jones because there was a lot of scar tissue there, but I think for what it was, he did a really good job. After each surgery, I was given procedures to just stretching and to walk for 30 minutes a day. After the first day of surgery, I felt some relief already after like the first day and a half. 3 weeks after surgery, I was back to work doing, just driving, no heavy lifting. And at this point, I still don't do any heavy lifting just to keep safe. I would say by the beginning of January, I was back to doing working, walking my dog, normal chores, going to the dining room table and eating dinner with the rest of the family instead of having my plate brought to me, I think I'm more physical now the last 6 months, just being outside more, walking more, because the more you walk, the better you're going to feel.
No longer having pain to worry about, Michael and his adorable dog Penny are free to enjoy the over 4,000 acres of parks in Pinellas County.
To someone else who's experiencing similar back pain, I would say to them, don't lose hope. There's hope out there. Boneta really helped me. They can probably help them. I would definitely recommend Boneta Spine Institute to others with even just similar back problems or neck problems. They're an institute. They're not going to force you to do it. They're going to give you the best recommendations on what they have for your individual case.